G'day everyone, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC, farting about on the lathe. Well, what's this all about? Just a bit of aimless work, a bit of comparison of tooling actually. I've got a couple of different boring bars that I've been trying out here and my struggle to get a good fit on some items that I'm making. I'm back to working on the snout bar holders for the borer, and I had a bit of success. The first bush, where I'm bushing the snout bar holder and then boring it out to try and get the accuracy back. It was all wallowed out inside, and I had where I'd like a half thou to one transition fit, it had about a 3 or 4 thou, which was finishing up at 20 thou out at the end of the tool, and just wasn't very good. So this fellow I made with old technology. I've got a couple of smaller boring bars. This is a little snifter, 12mm shank. This is what I used on the previous bush, which is a 16mm, takes the same little triangular insert, and I got a real bargain. I got both of those boring bars, a left and a right hand turning tool holder, and 10 inserts for about $85. I couldn't whinge about it. And to be honest, they're not bad little tools. They're 04 radius. They turn the chip very, very nicely, but it's just got one hell of a push out force, and I find it very, very hard to land within a thou of where I want to be. It doesn't repeat very well. You can take 2 spring passes and it's still cutting, and it's not consistent. I've tried varying the RPM. I find I've got to use too fast a feed rate to get it to work for my liking, so the finish isn't really good. So surprisingly, that one came out really, really well. And then I decided I wanted something a little bit heavier. As I said, I've got that 16mm bar, but from there I go up to a 32mm bar, and I've got nothing in between. So many, many years ago, I got this old forged tool holder, and I made up a 18mm bar, and I think I made it 18mm because that's the same size as inside my boring head. I cross drilled it, put a bit of high speed steel in, and I'm just quite amazed. Here's the curly wheeze it was making. I wasn't running the previous bar super fast like I suppose I should be, but I'm running this at 240 RPM in an 1.5-inch hole, and in tough material that's about the right surface speed, and it's taking curly wee chips, not little chips, but the push out force is negligible. If I go back for a spring pass, I only take half a thou to 1 thou. The finish is really good. It's using almost no horsepower, there's no noise. So far I've taken 8 or 9 cuts with a tool bit that wasn't ground really well, and it's doing a fantastic job. So what I'll do, I've got another GoPro camera that I'll mount up on the tailstock. I'm going to try a little bit of different recording ideas today, and also because I've had lots and lots of whinging about my audio, I've got a little audio recorder that I'll try in the pocket this time, and then with a plug-in lapel mic next time I'm down here. But we'll have a little bit of a play with this. The reason I'm pushing forward with this job, I need a tool to make a tool to finish a tool to do another job, and part of that is making up a bush to fit that small boring bar inside my boring head on the mill to take out the bore, the drill grinding attachment bracket. So it's make a tool to make a tool. Anyway, I'll turn the cameras off, get myself set up, and bring you in when I take a few of the final passes and see how close I can get it. The last one after the snout bar socket has cooled down will have about 1 to 1.5 thou interference, and I'll see how I go pressing it in. I think that should be quite good for that size diameter. Okay, back soon. Righto, the Panasonic's on. No nose coming out of that yet. No, it's only on photograph. Okay, GoPro's recording, Panasonic's recording, and now I'll push record on this thing. If you power it up first. Okay, we're now recording. I've just set it up to take 20th hour total out of the diameter. We'll give it a couple of passes at that and then come back and have a final check. This is real live noise. That's one of the first things I notice is the noise level is much lower. It's often material that tends to tear quite a bit. It's just difficult to get a nice bore finish. Poke my head into view again. With this new GoPro and a magnetic mount, I'm hoping to be able to get some on-machine camera work done. Pitch in a little bit closer at times. When you take a small cut, you sure get a lot of sweat. That's one good thing about the camera spotlight, I can see right up inside the gun. The light will be one of the best things I've bought. It makes a hell of a difference in what you get out of your video. It just gives you such good access to the job. I could put just a little bit of cutting oil in there. Maybe another 20 out. Another bit of spaghetti. If I can, I'd like to get very, very close with this. I'll be using a little bit of that red bottle brisket resistance and getting everything nice and clean. And I think I might even put a little bit of a starting paper on the bush to help it in. I've only got a 12-ton press, so I don't be trying to get big loads on it. One thing about using high-speed steel tools, you've got to get good quality tooling. Nephew-in-law of mine a few years ago, Chris, he was using tool shop high-speed steel and kept whinging to me how bad it was, so I gave him a piece of something cobalt high-speed steel. He said to me he only sharpened it once in the first year that we had it. That's the sort of difference you get with good quality tools. I'm finding that with the shape of the Victor Machinery high-speed steel tool bits I got from the States, are just so hard and the grind lasts so long. But then I don't push it like you would in a production circumstance. it work. Let's try and see what we've got to. $732. I've got 32 thou to come out. I'll sneak up slowly so I don't bugger this up. I've got a mixture of telescopic gauges. I've got a Moore and Wright set. One of them had been replaced by a cheap and nasty Who Flung Dung telegauge, and another is a Mitsutaya that's in there, and you can really tell the difference between the two brand names and the cheap and nasty telegauge. The cheap one is just bloody awful to use. Bit of goop. And we'll sneak up just a little bit. It's showing me everything that it should, including my voice. It'll be interesting to see how this is better. Now I'm getting A's and I'm using hearing aids. One thing you lose is a lot of the stereo effect, even with the hearing aid in. It makes a hell of a difference to the performance of the hearing. Let's see how far we are this time. It feels okay. $748. Shows me 19th how to go. Okay, I'll turn you off for a sec. I have somewhere I have to go. I can put you back on again now. Sorry about that, fellas. I had a bit of a seniors moment and I was getting my metric and imperials mixed up and nothing was working. A bit like this GoPro. That's it. It's running again. Yes, I was coming down close to the measurement. I got all muddled up, so I decided I'd save the part and embarrass myself. It did work quite well. I don't know how, but I've managed to come up with as close as I can measure the same size both in the hole and on the workpiece. It feels like it wants to, but it just quite won't. I haven't deburred anything yet, so I'll leave it exactly at that. So I've got a very, very tight fit, and like I said, I'll be using a bit of the red bottle interference fit, which should get me what I want. Also, I have a new microphone on the setup. I've now got an Australian Roadie miniature shotgun mic. I decided to go for something expensive and better quality. The last shotgun mic seemed to work quite well, but only lasted for 2 or 3 videos and it physically broke somewhere. I don't know if I was rough on it in the camera bag or what, but let me know if the audio is any better. I'll see if the audio is okay in the GoPro, if I can figure out how to get the sound out of it, and I've got the backup here. It'll be a bit of a mix. I'll bring it back after I've pressed it in, and I'm going to put it up on the horizontal borer, but now I can get this job out of the lathe to get the other bush to put the boring bar in to try and get to use it there. So bye for now, and please like and subscribe if you haven't. G'day guys, this is day 2 of use a tool to big a tool to make a tool, and on the old tool of building the tool, I suppose. What I've done is glued a piece of material onto a 1/2 inch shaft. I bored it first and then Loctited it onto a piece of rod turned to 12mm so that I can hopefully get the bore, the OD reasonably concentric with the bore. It doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be putting this little boring bar up inside a Vertex boring head. It's an adaptation I've been wanting to do for quite some time because I like the way this little boring bar cuts, and it'll be good to use on the drill grinding attachment. So without ado, I'll get you up a little bit closer with the telephoto and I'll give you, I hope, a bit of a better look at what I'm doing here. I've got to take very, very light cuts. I don't trust the bloody glue. It's been in the bottle quite some time. It'll be interesting to see what the audio comes out like. I've just run a little clip that I made yesterday with the GoPro, and surprisingly Mr. GoPro was very, very good. Video was good, audio was good, and I like the wide angle lens. I got quite a good spread of what's going on. And I'm only taking 3 to 5 thou per pass, so I'll be sneaking down on the size over a few minutes, but I don't want it to break loose on the glue. But I should be able to heat it up, push out the shaft, and then use my boring bar up in the mill. We'll give it a go anyway. So here's some noise, and I just crank it in a few thou, bit of goop on. By the way, I've brought you down closer with just the front lens going to micro on the camcorder. I thought it'd come up with quite a good shot. Okay, well, here we go. seem to be cutting reasonably good, although the finish is fairly poor, and I'd say by all the interruptions along the cut I've got a fair bit of crap up in on the rack or on the gear. It's not cutting consistently, and I expect a reasonable amount of taper. The final cut I'll have to come back and do a couple of times because it's on a pretty skinny support rod, only ½ inch. Yeah, that shows I just took 10th hour off. Okay, it's going to be a long and boring bloody job, so I'll let you have a bit of a rest and bring you back when it's finished. G'day guys, another episode of farting about on the lathe. The final cut I took using a 100th millimetre dial gauge to get the end feed in, and I came up to within 2/100ths of a millimetre of the expected size, and I think that's pretty damn good for me. Although I did manage to get most of the lines out of the workpiece. I think I've got a lot of crap on the feed screw that I've got to clean up, but this is what I wanted to see. Lovely. There's probably a thou transition in there, I can put up with that, and it's clamped by a fairly big screw, so I think I'm on a winner chicken dinner with this lot. So the next job is just to clamp the workpiece on a piece of timber out there and put a slit in it with a slitting saw, and that'll allow it to clamp up onto the boring bar, I hope, fingers crossed. Okay, I'll bring you that back when that's done, and we heat it up and push it off the shaft. Bye for now. G'day fellas, welcome back. It's day 3 on a 2-day job. I'll zoom you in a little bit. This is the swinging arm for the drill grinding attachment, and I am swapping and changing in between jobs, and it's purely because I can. I'm on no schedule and I have no employer, so I just do what I want. I managed to bugger this hole up quite a bit. I was going from a pilot hole, taking it up, getting ready to ream it, and the cutter I was using moved substantially. So I put a bit of a gumbuckling hole in it, not quite on side, but there was enough of the existing hole left for me to use a rod in the drill chuck to centre it up again, and the rod passes through both what's left of the pilot hole here and the hole at the bottom in line with this setup. I've got a little machinist jack underneath it to take all the thrust, and luckily the thrust isn't too high. I'm using a 5/8 short series Hydra end mill, and I've just got another mill or so to go in this particular hole, and then I'll put a longer cutter in to do the bottom of it, and then I'll be swapping up the boring head and using the wish that we recently turned to use a small boring bar to take the last couple of thou out. And if that doesn't want to work, I'll just use a bloody machine reamer. Hell, it's not rocket science. Okay, we'll turn the noise on and zoom you in and let you have a look at it. The hole was out by nearly the full amount I'm cutting, about 2 millimetre. How I got there I don't know, but I do know this, I'm bloody lucky I caught it in time. I could always drill the material out, put a bush in and then bore it again, but luckily it's not led to that. Okay, and you go a little bit closer and I think you can still see what we're up to. Bit of noise, and we'll pull some metal out. I'm leaving it a bit of friction on the quill so it won't get away from me, especially when we go to burst through. And my hand is going to end up right where I didn't want it. Oh no, so far so good. I can't get max speed up to work because the switch has had it. So we'll just have to put up with it being a bit slower than I wanted. Time for a bit of gooey goop. Turning it off is for all of those that are safety conscious, just like me. I'll reposition the quill arm back a bit further. That's it. Now I might get a better go at it and let you still see what's happening. Yep, you're still tuned in to Batman. Okay, away we go. Not much feel there. That's a bit better. Yeah, pedal's coming out again. I think next time I get my favourite electrician Mike here, I'll get him to change the switch on the mill so I can get that extra speed in reverse. It's only needed when I'm in low range. Okay, top hole's through. I'll stop the cutter over and then do a bit more on the bottom. Bye for now. Here we are now back for the next instalment. I've had to swap over to an American long series cutter, and of all things a 5/8 cutter with 6 flutes. I'm scratching my head, I don't know why. It's part of that batch of cutters I bought from over in the States, and man, the Yanks make some bloody good high-speed steel tooling. I'm really impressed with it, but I've just started it into the bottom hole, so we'll do a bit more cutting. We don't have to go all the way through if we don't want to. If it does, I don't care. Either way, we'll do a little bit more. Impressed with their basic quality, and I'm not going to throw any of their cutters out. They would make wonderful D bits or special purpose tools. This is a fair bit quieter than running the lathe or the borer, so please let me know what the mic's operating like. Are you getting reasonable audio? Okay, let's throw the switch and away we go. And there was about a thou difference in diameter between the last cutter I put through and this one. Just put a bit of friction on and see what it cuts like. Get my fat head out of the way. Yep, I can feel it's pulling a chip and see it too. That's doing quite a good job. When doing this sort of job, I just like to keep a little bit of grease up to the cutter. Got to be so careful you don't get the brush going around with the cutter. Not that I'd know that from experience, but you choose to shite off the end of the brush. Well, so far they're looking good. And after this, for a 16mm pin, I'm going to have to ream out 0.12mm, about 5 thou out of the hole. I'm pretty sure I've done that on the bush section, so I'll check that before I put the reamer into this hole and make sure they both match. They can both be 5/8 or 16mm, doesn't worry me. Okay, well, I'm going to clean the tips up and have a check with a mirror. I can't see in straight vision how far it is, but you get the gist of what we're doing. That'll be the pivot point, and next I'll throw this up on the borer after I finish getting the snout bar holder bushes done, and then I can drill and bore for the tool holder, and then in the same setup face it off so the face is perpendicular exactly to the bore going through. Bye for now. Righto guys, this is the last operation before we break it down and head over to the boring mill, but that'll be after we do the bushes on the mill. This is just a 16mm chucking reamer going through. I've done the top part of it, so we're now going down to get into the bottom bracket. It's only taking a thou or two, but that's good enough for me. The hole is coming up with quite a good finish. Okay, power on, Batman. so far quite smooth. Just pushing a very small amount of chips out. Flutes aren't loaded up too bad. That gooey goop I'm using is outstanding. I won't tell the rep that, he gave me that sample. Okay, here we are. Well, that completes this part of the job. It'll probably be another week before I put another video out, so if this is your first try, please like and subscribe, and see you all later.